The way to become human is to understand that which is controlling your interpretation machine. I've said this again and again, but it is so important and it's so clear, and it's the best teaching that you can ever find in the whole world. So I'm going to say it again. The way to become a human being, the way to humanity is this: to understand what it is that is controlling your interpretation machine. Because your interpretation machine is your life, you know. If you want to understand all these spiritual teachers who say that only this is the door to heaven, only this self is the true self, only this is that is the dus, is the dibba dabba do. If you want to understand them, if you want to understand a prophet or whoever, you have to understand their interpretation machine. Understand that which is controlling his interpretation machine. If you want to understand Vladimir Putin, understand what it is that is controlling his interpretation machine. And there you are. If you want to understand how Hitler became Hitler, you just have to understand what it is that was controlling his interpretation machine. This is the teaching of human psychology. You have to understand that which is controlling your interpretation machine. This is the gospel. The way to humanity is to understand that which is controlling your interpretation machine, because your interpretation machine is your life. Your interpretation machine is that which is controlling your brain, and your brain is your life. Your brain is that which is producing your life as you experience it. So, if you want to know what it is to be a human being and to understand why it is possible to see the deepest truth of everything, you must understand that which is controlling your interpretation machine. It's a big map down there of trauma, of experiences, of conditioning, of political things, because we are living in a system where education is completely outdated. And I will say this again, the educational system is completely outdated. Make a banner over your school with this sentence: find out and see and understand and discover that which is controlling your interpretation machine. And then everything, the whole of humanity will come out like in an old telex machine. It will just it will come out, it will print itself out. The whole story of humanity, the whole story of all the stupidity and incompetence that we've had for 345 million years down here. So I will say this again and again. The road to humanity, the way to humanity, the road to true humanity, the way to become truly and really human is to see that which is controlling your interpretation machine. You have to see that. It's your brain is the reason for everything, You have to understand it. We are all products of that we have perceived. Because we cannot do anything else than absorb that which is in our life circle, in our perception. We absorb that which we perceive. So if you want to understand yourself, or the world, or the whole of humanity, understand only this. What is it that is controlling the interpretation machine inside the brain? What is it that is controlling my interpretation machine? Well, it is downloaded programs, so to speak. It is neurocircuitry. It is neurocircuitry in the brain that we receive and develop through experience, and through that which we perceive as content, by the way that we interpret also. The story of humanity is this. The story of humanity is that which is controlling our interpretation machine. And that is not only cultural content, it is not only propaganda, so to speak, it's not only information, it's not only ideology, it's not only content. It is also natural phenomena like electromagnetic energy, like the way that the synapses work together. So let's say that 80% is culture and 20% is nature. Or you can turn it around and say 80% is nature and 20% is culture. It's the same thing. Because we are controlled by the way that the brain works, which means the technicalities of it. You know, the brain that the way that the brain works in a neurological way, you know, in a chemical and physical way, an energetic way. If you want to understand humanity, you must understand what is it that is controlling their interpretation machine.